I was in a conversation yesterday afternoon with someone where we were discussing the internal drivers or motivators and how things are different for an entrepreneur and somebody who has a job. These were his words. And as the conversation went on, I started to get a little heated and take a little bit of offense, which is the thing that is inspiring this rant today. So, first off, his assumption was that someone who has a job just goes into the office, puts in their time, gets their paycheck, and then they come home at the end of the day and they're free. They don't think anything more about it. Whereas a proper business owner deserves to be lauded because when they wake up at 3 in the morning, the very first thing on their mind is the business, the client, the money, the business, the client, the money. Every waking moment, every sleeping moment, every not quite sleeping moment is somehow focused on the business. And his premise was that someone who has a job doesn't operate that way. So here's the first place that I felt the need to push back against him. And the first thing I said is that may be true for someone who has a true job. They consider it a job. But for someone who has built a career or built a profession, that's not the case. If you've built a profession, when you wake up for that 3 a.m. bathroom run, often the first thing that's in your mind is something to do with your career, your mission, your purpose, something that's going on in the office. So that was the first challenge. But what this opens up is a larger discussion around what's the difference between that person who cracked out of the womb intending to be a business owner with this burning desire to be a business owner versus the person who came into entrepreneurship as a coach, as a leader, as an expert, coming into that later in life, starting a business later in life for some other reason, for some other purpose. So I know for a fact that the majority of the clients in my community are those who have decided to start a business for some other specific purpose. These are mission-driven people, meaning that they need a mission, that going through the motions for the sake of a paycheck is a non-starter for them. There is something, some difference, some impact they're looking to make in the world. And in fact, that difference, that drive, that making an impact is what took them to their original career or profession. And now, for whatever reason, something has happened in their lives and they've realized that the confines of that original organization are not supporting them to live the life that they want to live while also making the difference that they're here to make. So it might be they've decided that working in the confines of this organization is actually limiting the impact of their mission, that they know they're meant to reach more people, reach them in a different way or serve them in a different way, or the driver might be something more benign like it was for me in the very beginning, which was I just wanted the freedom to do my work in the way that I wanted to do it. I wanted to be able to live where I wanted to live that was not possible inside the context of the organization that I was working for at the time. So what happens when you make that transition? Because here's the thing. Whether you cracked out of the womb intending to be a business owner or you've come into your business later in life, the truth is, and this is the place where I have to reluctantly agree with the individual I was having the debate with yesterday, is the truth is that yes, when you are a business owner, you do think about things differently than you do when you're working inside an organization. You look at risk differently. You look at money differently. You look at impact differently. you look at predictability differently. Yes, I put that in air quotes because the truth is, we know that there's no such thing as a certain thing. And yet when you're working inside of a organization, there is the expectation that, I did my work, I made my impact, I came in and did the thing, and I will get my paycheck at the end of the 2 weeks, a month, or whatever. Inside the world of operating your own business, in the beginning, when you're in that idea phase, maybe you've just started your business and you're in the idea phase and you haven't even generated your first dollar yet. Or maybe you're in the understand phase where you've generated that first dollar in your business, but it's not consistent yet because you're still trying to understand precisely what is it in your business that generates revenue. And I'm not just talking about the service delivery. I'm also talking about, what is the message that your audience needs to hear? What are the delivery items that you love to deliver and therefore can eagerly put yourself out in the market and say, hey, come join my program, coach with me one-on-one, whatever, come to my retreat, whatever your business model is. But that service delivery model, if you don't love it, it will actually get in the way of your ability to generate income. All these kinds of things happen in the understand phase until you actually get to the phase of your business where, okay, now you're ready to grow. You understand the message that works for your people. You understand the delivery method that works for you. And now you're just trying to put some volume in it. Now, I walked you through those 3 phases, but notice that there is a different mindset that happens inside every one of those phases. And none of them parallel what you experienced when you were working inside an organization. When you were working inside an organization, when you started, which would be the equivalent of the idea phase for a business, when you started, you were in fact doing what the organization told you to do, going through the motions the way that they told you to do it, because essentially they were giving you a beginning game plan, which is exactly what's happening in the idea phase when you're building a business, when you're starting on your business, and maybe you've taken a program from a business guru who shared with you their business model. Maybe you've taken a couple of different courses and now you're kludging something together to create your own thing. But it's still, you're sort of following somebody else's plan. In the organizational world, then as you start to build your expertise in that profession, in that career, then that's where you're beginning to explore. You're beginning to understand what are the things that you love to do? What are the things that you do better than anybody else? This is exactly the same when you're starting that business and you get to that understand phase. It is, what are those things you love to do? What are the things that you do better than anybody else? How do you articulate that so that people understand what that thing is and they can come in and work with you? And then in your professional career, then you move into the grow. This is where you're moving into mid-level senior management, into the executive levels. And this is where the shift happens so often we miss it. I'm using the word we because it happened to me too when I was still inside of an organization. In between that understand and grow phase, when you're looking at it in the context of an organization, when you step from being the line employee, line supervisor, mid-level manager, and you step into the senior manager, senior executive positions, now all of a sudden you are no longer being paid for what you output with your hands. You are being paid for your vision, for your leadership, for your message, for your mission. The same thing is true in the entrepreneurial world. When you step into that space and you're moving from understand to grow in your business, this is the place where you amplify your mission, your message, your voice. All through, you're taking a different thought process around risk. What is scary? What is appropriate? What is inappropriate? You're taking a different look at finances. You relate to your money differently. You have to think about your money differently. And then finally, it's about thinking about yourself differently, holding yourself in that unflappable leadership position, standing for your mission, standing for your clients, standing for the difference that you're here to make in the world, and standing for keeping yourself fulfilled, financed, and free, such that you can sustain that mission for the long haul. So, while this started out as a bit of a rant, the truth is that there is a nugget in there worth looking at. And one of the things that I love to work with my clients on is bridging that gap, bridging the difference between how do I transition from this amazing career, profession, background, life that I had before into this entrepreneurial world without burning the boats. One more key difference between the person who cracked out of the womb intending to be a business owner and someone who comes into their entrepreneurial career, entrepreneurial adventure later in life is that if you cracked out of the womb as a business intending to be a business owner with this burning desire to be a business owner, you probably started when you were 21, 22, 23. You started when you were a young kid. Let's just think about this for a minute. When you were 21, 22, 23, what kind of things were you happy to tolerate in your lifestyle? Maybe you were okay eating ramen noodles, sleeping on a mattress on the floor, in a studio apartment, or even your parents' basement. There were lots of things that you were willing to tolerate then because quite frankly, you're just starting out. You're barely more than a kid. And that's kind of normal for you. And you're making your way in the world and you're going to figure it out. And we all came in as 21-year-olds with that lovely bravado that had us believe that we were bulletproof. By the time you come to, even if you transition out of your career, like in your late 30s, early 40s, which is where I see a lot of people choose to make a transition because something else in their life has happened. Maybe they have a child with special needs. Maybe they have a spouse who's gotten a position that requires them to live in a specific place or travel all the time. Maybe they have found themselves with elder care responsibilities that they weren't counting on. Something in life has shifted, which is part of what's drawing them into the entrepreneurial space. But notice that at that point, this person's already built a life and a lifestyle. This person has a family. This person has a home, a mortgage, has a lifestyle that they have become accustomed to. And quite frankly, they like. They're not interested in burning the boats. They are not interested in living off ramen noodles and sleeping on an air mattress on the floor. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you're in a place where you're pretty comfortable, deciding to take the leap into that entrepreneurial world is a profound act of courage. Far more courageous than that one over there who had nothing left to lose. So wherever you are on your journey, I just want to honor you because you decided to take the leap. Or maybe if you're just thinking about taking the leap. But the fact that you're even thinking about taking the leap, even if you haven't done it yet, means that you can see something bigger on the horizon for yourself and for the people you're here to serve. So, if you'd like some help bridging that gap, I have a free gift. It's called CIA Spy Secrets to Making Goals Work for You, which is specifically designed to help you understand what's running in the background for you that might be impacting the way you think about starting your new business. My name's Martha Wilson. I look forward to connecting with you soon.